To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Shawn Whittington's Paranormal Ministry Live 2.0. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I'm a deacon in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house, where I live. Been quiet tonight. Well, actually, having said that, the Dreamcatcher's starting to move a little bit. You know, the guest that I have on tonight, you all tuned in for her. It's going to be a great show. I haven't seen her in a couple of months, and that's why you all tuned in. So I expect things to get a little active in here, being as though what she brings to the table and her posse from the other side. Um, she's in the green room. Let me get ready to bring her out. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go there to visit, keep in mind my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, please click on it and send my ministry in a small donation. It'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. Um, Anything you want to know about us is all there. My books, my course, a place where you can make an appointment to speak with me about spiritual issues. Everything's there. Hope everybody had a wonderful, beautiful, and blessed Thanksgiving. And tonight is Happy Medium Monday. It's the last Happy Medium Monday of 2023. We're taking a lot of days off in the holidays for us coming up that next month. So this is the night. If you ever wanted a free live on-air psychic reading, if you're here, you've tuned in live, all you got to do when I bring Susan out is type your question for Susan into the chat room, and she will give you your reading. So without further ado, let's please give a big, warm Paranormal Ministry family welcome to my very special co-host, the one and only, the happy medium herself, live from Cape Cod, Susan AHEARN.
Hey.
Hey.
I missed you.
You know how we know we've got a big show going? Because the first comment we have is from Superman himself, Clark Kent.
There you go.
Look at that. So even Superman wants to talk to Susan.
Is Clark able to talk? Doesn't he have no movement from the neck down?
Oh,
I know that was bad.
is that your bad joke of the night?
I was going to say that is a horrible joke of the day.
Well, hello, Clark.
I'll pay for that one later. Oh my gosh.
Extra prayers for you tonight.
I haven't seen you. And may he rest in peace. I don't think the actor that played Clark Kent. I know who was that actor again?
Reeves. Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves.
Yep. And passed away a couple years ago. I guess it's been more than a couple years, but so.
Yeah,
and if I remember correctly, an accident from riding a horse. Didn't he fall off a horse?
Yeah. Correct.
Yep.
I thought he flew. When you fall, couldn't he just? Okay. I missed you. I haven't seen you in a couple of months. We had to cancel last month
Not
because
that long. You're so dramatic.
Halloween. Well, it feels like a long time.
Oh.
Halloween, you had an event, so you couldn't come on.
Right.
And I think the month before that, Zach was having like a really bad 2 months there with he got married, then he had a shoulder thing, then he had, COVID, then he had a kidney thing.
Shawn, I've been married for a year and a half now.
Oh, yeah. See, that's how long he's been in a really bad mood. So,
see. It is his fault.
I can't wait till she sees this show, man. She's gonna come after you.
And then
it's all gonna be hair and fists.
Then they switch around and change the name of the production company to Twinkie Mouth Productions. I don't know what that's all about.
We know what that's all about. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
Zach, for all the people that may not know,
cup.
Would you hold up that box and show everybody what that?
What you got? Oh, look ding dong and Twinkie mashup.
It's a what are we talking about? What exactly is that?
It's the cake is a Twinkie.
Oh.
Okay, the cake is a Twinkie. It's got the chocolate covering of a ding dong, and of course they both got the same fillings. So, but it's just like, you know, Wonder Miss in a cake.
Right? That's the best thing ever.
It is.
I don't think they have that here yet in New England.
I'm going to see if I can get Hostess to be a sponsor for
Hostess
the show.
Goodies. That's right, Superman. Hostess Goodies. Yep, you got it. See, even the guys, and I cannot remember. Krypton. Even the guys from Krypton know Twinkies.
Best ever.
Well, listen, guys. Tonight is. I let everybody know that this was the last Happy Medium Monday of 2023. And I want to announce that you have graciously agreed to continue Happy Medium Mondays in 2024. So that's the last Monday of every month.
No, you threatened me.
Well,
he did. Yes. He did. He really did.
You cursed me. You said, I will send my demons over to get you if you do not do the show.
I did. I have to admit I did. Because, you know, you got to pull whatever, you got to pull whatever you can pull to get a little leverage, so.
Right.
But I'm so happy that you have agreed to come back.
You got to what?
Pull wherever you can from different.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you can to get leverage. I told everybody, hey, this is your last chance this year. If you ever wanted a free live on air psychic reading, we only have, what are the rules again? Don't ask to conjure spirit. That takes a lot of energy and a lot of time.
Right. That's another
ask
show.
Questions like about love, job, travel, health, things of that nature.
Money,
boom. And all you got to do is type your question into the chat room there. Susan will read it and she will answer your question.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to start this show this time.
Good.
All right. And here is my question for you, Susan. We've had a hellacious year, just with everything going on. What does next year have in store for us? Hello, Sharon. Yeah, we were warned that you were gonna be babysitting us, just to let you know. So we're all trying to behave.
Yeah, right. So what's going to be unfolding for next year? So because this year was so difficult, oh, wonderful, Pam. I'm glad you're joining in for the first time. That's exciting.
Pam, this could go either way. You could either want to come back in January of next year, or I may never hear from you again. This could go either way. Just warn.
Your last show, first show, last show.
Yeah, of course she's going to come on one where I've been on most of the show. So, but yeah, here you go. Well, obviously, look what you've married.
Yeah. Oh, Sharon, poor Sharon. So this year has been about choices, and it's about endings and beginnings. It's about cleaning up, kind of like the junk drawer, the drawer that we've been avoiding, to clean out and to let go of things that no longer serve us, relationships that no longer serve us. Jobs. So relationships in anything, not just romantic, but jobs, friendships, even things that used to bring us joy or things that we used to like to do. It doesn't fit anymore as we are evolving and changing and moving forward in the new world. Awareness is the best way to put it. Things are really, they're changing. They're just, and we've been forced, if you haven't made that nice transition to, for the past couple of years, because it's been building. It's not all of a sudden 2023 was a shit show. It's been building, and we know it's been coming. And so if you've been fighting that change, then it was a difficult transition for you. But if you've been slowly doing your homework and looking at your shadow aspects of yourself, your personality, and um, sitting with stuff. So recently, it was very interesting. I have been really doing the deep dive into things that uh, I either avoided a long time ago or memories that have been coming up that were uncomfortable to visit. Um, and so it's been interesting. I've been in this place of I don't want to say uh, slightly uncomfortable, but it was like, oh, why am I thinking this? And some of it was about me giving myself compassion for being less than or making the less than choices in my life, and how I would do it differently now, evolving to what we've seen before. So it's just finding compassion for myself. And then when I make space for myself and can hold compassion for myself, then once I've mastered that, I can have compassion for others. And that's basically what we're trying to do on this planet is and I don't think we're doing a very good job of it right now, but that's kind of where we're going towards, is a place where there is compassion and love and joy, but it has to start at home. So that's what
I a long time ago I stopped saying it can't get any worse because it always can.
oh,
So
it
do you?
will too. It will. If we
No.
avoid it, it will. And we're seeing just random acts of stupidity. And it's, we're like, I'm finding like Spirit had just told me, my guides had told me to avoid venues. And I was in promotions and promotions manager. So the venues were my place, like music and the arts and things like that. That's where I worked on the other side of doing readings and whatnot. And I was told to just kind of not go where large groups of people are.
Wow.
So
Is there something going on crazy with like the Vale or wherever you go
mm,
to? Are there
mhm,
with all of the and I don't want to get too political or too heavy
mhm.
on all of this, but with all of the violence and all the rhetoric and all the just outright, and I'm just going to say it, the outright evil that's out there right now, is there, what does the Vale look like right now? Does it look different? Does it look more like pea soup, or instead of
Right.
like clear and a peaceful place?
Yeah, no, the veil of the spirit, what do I want to call it? Um so we have our space, and then we have the spirit realm where ghosts, the spirit energies, anybody in this past is occupying. That really has nothing to do with the anger that is coming up that people aren't dealing with, right? So as I was saying, like, I've looked at aspects of myself that were less than, um, without judging and without, and just kind of being sitting in that place of compassion, um, for making bad choices. Um, People aren't doing that. They're projecting it onto somebody else so that they're not responsible, and they're projecting that onto others. And so there's a lot of hatred, but it's not really at the people that they're having these violent acts towards. It's really they're not loving themselves. So they have to sit with that uncomfortable energy that they've created. That's why we're here. So we're looking at all this old karma and all our choices and all of our lessons. And did we do it or did we avoid? And as humans, we love to avoid. That's why drugs and alcohol, and sex and, you know, obsessing over Twinkies. That's why all these things are happening, because
Hmm.
not pointing any fingers. Um, But that's why they're here, because we want to avoid the uncomfort, the discomfort. So we'll eat, or so we'll have drugs and alcohol to get us to a place that we don't have to feel. And yeah, and the veil has totally changed. It's very thin, and it's a choice. You either get to choose a a place of ego and avoidance and lack and suffering, or you can find the compassion to let it all go, to actually find love for yourself and truly love yourself, be free of ego and move on. And so it's a choice. You have to do the homework. You're not going to get through to the next grade if you didn't pass anything in. And until you can get there, it's you're always going to be triggered. And this hatred isn't going to go away, because it's just this constant poking until you do it. And your hatred is poking, somebody else's hatred is poking, like, and it's a choice, but not everybody's there. There is a world that is not full of that. There, people are living in a very happy existence right now. And they were during COVID, when everyone else was suffering. There was you could live in a place where you weren't struggling. And some people were really having a bad time, and others were loving it. So that's total choice. Total choice. Suffering is not necessary, but people are choosing it.
It's funny you bring COVID up. I know the pandemic's, you know, over, I guess, but people are still getting really, really violently ill. I mean, Sharon has a friend who's got to know somebody, a good friend of that person's, like in their 50s,
Mhm.
really, really healthy, just died, got COVID and just died the other day. And my
Wow.
bishop is really sick, and
No.
Zach was really sick. You were really sick.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
and
mean,
Sean, I hate to say it, but there was a new strain of something coming out of China. That is, and this one is from what I've heard is aimed at children, and
Mm.
that's unfortunate. But this one's making children sick. I can't remember if it said that it was taking their lives, but it's making them extremely ill.
Mhm.
And so, but I mean, look, there's always going to be something, right? I mean, I think that
Mhm.
the one thing that COVID taught us, and I'll bet you both can agree with this, is that, we've always looked back in history at like, oh, we'd never go through the bubonic plague again. Can't be so sure of that anymore, can we? So,
well,
uh, Pam
I
Harris, our first timer, has a question for you.
okie
Actually, she
dokie.
was kind of sharing. I don't think there was a question in there. She needs to pay more attention to that, and normally did not need to give so much attention to. So yeah, she's just kind of confirming that she's going through it as well. And so for those who are choosing a higher path, um, you know, being out in nature is very key. It's huge. Avoiding people. Once again, it's huge. Not to avoid so that you're not triggered, which is helpful, but to reconnect with yourself. Because as we're moving through, we're finding that um, my taste is different, my desires are different, my needs are totally changed. And my sleeping patterns, my eating patterns, like all of those things are changed. And if we can find ourselves spending more time with ourselves, you'll move through it faster, because you're not distracted, right? We're not listening to loud music. We're not in places where we would be more subject to paying attention to other people. It's hard when you're going through it in a relationship. You don't have that me time, you don't have that, just that one, but it's totally possible to go through it with a partner and work through that. Although we're seeing a lot of relationships um ending, because it's just, once again, it's just a struggle. It's just avoidance, blame. It's easy to blame your partner than to work on yourself. Well, they made me blah blah blah, or it just um it's just another trigger mechanism. And eventually you will spend time alone. And COVID gave us that opportunity. I think COVID, yes, it's this illness, but it also made us be very alone, right? It made us stay
Yeah.
alone. And so that was our opportunity to grow or to see what did you do, you know? I jumped in and took an amazing class and that I have now found is my new love. So working with vibrational therapy, vibroacoustic therapy, that is for me, and not for everyone, for me, that is the new healing wave that is coming. Vibration is in everything. And if we can heal ourselves through this vibration, then there we go. And you'll find that you will come up with illnesses or physical maladies so that we can practice on ourselves first. So I feel like that last round of COVID for me was just a way of just being in it without fear, without whatever, and just surrendering to it and thanking it for, whatever its need is, whatever that purpose is for COVID. There is a reason, right? We may not know it now, but there is a reason. And just kind of being okay with that and surrendering to that. And then, you know, instead of looking at it as I'm the victim and someone gave it to me and blah, blah, like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's that.
It's what generation? Everybody attaches like a letter to a generation, and I'm totally not into that. I don't follow
Oh,
that. But
right.
do you know what
Gen-
generation that is? It's like in college now.
oh, I don't know.
Whatever that generation is.
Yeah.
What happened to
Gen Z, I think,
Oh,
Gen
is where we're at
Z.
now.
Yeah, you're right.
what happened to the old? I was never a great debater. I'm not. I don't like confrontation. I'm really not a violent person. I'll protect myself, but I'm not really not a violent person. I don't like to argue with Sharon. You know, I can't remember the last. I don't think we've ever, in the 20 years we've been married, I don't think we've ever had an argument. She's yelled at me a couple times because I'm stupid. But um, what happened to, agree to disagree, healthy debate, all that kind of stuff? Now it's like if you don't agree, they want to hunt you down and beat you up, and
Right?
in some
Yeah.
circumstances kill you.
Mhm.
Um, just I don't know how it got like that, and I think the biggest, probably because I wear the collar, but a lot of people reach out to me a lot, wanting to know if it's end days, if that's coming, if that's we're going there, and I
Right.
always tell people, in my humble opinion, no, we're not there, but even if it happens, you're not going to know anyhow that quick. It's going to be like someone turned the light switch off, and you're just going to be in heaven. Some of us.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think about what's the vibe you get from the other side about all of this? Because everything that's happening right now is feeding into that fear. What's happening in the in the Middle East and all that, and the
Mhm.
Ukraine, and
Right.
what's your vibe telling you from that perspective?
Well, it is the final days. It is the ending of, the ending of an existence, a life that we used to have. That's over. Like, think of all the things that you've done or had or experienced that no longer really is anymore. There's a lot of stuff that's changed in
Yeah,
3 years, 4
right.
years, right? So it has ended. There it is the ending. Now, we maybe threw a dramatic spin on it and go, "Oh, it's the ending." But maybe it was just the ending of what we know. And that is true. So we're already in it. Um, fear, fear is the ego. Ego loves a good drama story. So if that's your thing, then you can have that. You can, it's like, are you a half full or half empty person? Are you going to um, mourn and then move on and create something beautiful with that? Or are you going to stay in a place of perpetual sorrow and sadness and never move on? And I'm seeing a lot of people are in that place. You have the chance, you have the choice to move forward. Do you or not? And I can't, nobody can make that choice for them. That comes from internal.
Yeah, Pam makes a good point there. People are like that now. Yeah, friends that I've known all my life that I know love me. Um, yeah, it's just one day you just go to send them a message or check on them, and you find out that you have been unfriended, and you
Right.
realize, well, what happened there? Maybe that was a mistake. But then you think back,
Mhm.
oh, a couple of conversations back,
Mm.
we did have we had a uh, conversation that didn't go right, didn't feel right. Things were weird.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, people are just, it's pretty amazing. It used to never be like that. At least I don't remember it being like that. I could.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you got better of the COVID. I mean, your
Yeah.
last message to me was like you couldn't even get off your couch. That was
Oh,
scary.
so tired. Yeah, it just sucked the life right out of you.
I had the exact same thing. That was I've got the constant headaches and everything,
Ugh, those headaches are horrible.
but yeah, I couldn't I I would get up off the couch and walk to the TV, and then I need to take a 2-hour break because I was wiped out. I was just
Wow.
I mean, it was bad. It
Yeah.
really was.
So I'm glad that this is helpful for you, Angela, because it's important for, as I call it, anybody that's choosing the positive spiritual path are light beings. Because our DNA, our energetic field is shifted so that we will no longer crave the drama. Even watching TV, I'm like, oh my God, what show is this? Like, most of those reality Atlanta or whatever housewife things, I'm like, I just am blown away.
Yeah. It,
I was
it,
like,
it,
is that
yeah.
your life? Like all of that drama and you go back for more? And like, I'm like, oh, that is not the way to be living. And so if you're
Think of all the
seeing,
people that love those shows. They feed
right.
into it and feed off of it.
So if you find that you cannot relate to things like that, you've done your job. You're moving. You're moving in the right direction. If you can't do anything, like there's so many silly things out there right now. And if that no longer, you used to love that, but now you no longer feeds your soul and you're almost annoyed by it, that's perfect. Then you know you're going in the right path. And you've decided, no one made you decide that. You have decided it on your own, that that's your journey. You're making the change. And so yeah, that your old world is over. You can no longer go, you, even if you wanted to, you just still can't go through it. Another one is the Bachelor, the older Bachelor guy. Oh my God, it is so cringy. I'm like, stop. Why is this a show?
Now
Horrible.
now you got like that 90-day fiance, and you've got like 8 million variations of that. I've never watched a single minute of this stuff, but you just hear something like 90-day fiance. Whoa. So no, that doesn't sound good to
From
me.
somebody who is like a 12-year fiance. Yeah, yeah, that wouldn't work for you. We're calling you out, mister. Oh, I just missed what Angela said. I'm so sorry. Yes, I can't read. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the basketball wives too. And nothing personal. I'm sure some people love it, but when it just doesn't, when drama does not serve you anymore, you just walk away. And we don't judge. We just go, no, this just doesn't fit right for me. And and that's a good thing. Then you know you're really moving in the right direction. All right, you're looking for a psychic medium. I'm only scratching the surface of my abilities, but just an hour ago, I got this overwhelming sinking feeling that I can't shake it. Get flashes, but I don't know what it's showing me. Normally, when I get these feelings, something bad happens with one of my children. So, with the flashes, I really hope not this time. If any of you could help me, please. So, yes, Melissa, I get those often. My family is really good. I do a check-in. Sometimes when I get that, I'm like, okay, check in. And everybody like, I'm alive, I'm alive. Everyone comes in and says, I'm alive.
Yeah.
My son, my youngest, will usually say, nope, I'm dead. You know, so, and that's our kind of our funny thing.
Yeah,
But
that is funny.
they humor me because they know that it's real for me. But the kids do it too. Hey, mom, are you alive? I'm like, yep, nope. And then I send it back.
Well,
Nope,
you
I'm
know
dead.
why they do that.
Right, right. So, okay. So, what do you do when you get half of a message? Because you're only getting half the message. They're teaching you to work on your stuff. Now, you've been getting half messages for a long time. So, I'm kind of going to yell at you a little bit and say, why have you not been working on this? What are you doing? Or why are you avoiding it? Because you can't avoid these messages because they're going to keep coming. So you might as well get the whole message and not be annoyed. So what I will say to my guides is like, look, if I can't do anything about this, a lot like when I was doing uh the Lady of the Dunes. She would give me just half messages and I got really mad at her and I said, "Look,
Yeah.
I will help solve your murder, but I can't play this game and it's exhausting to me and it's wasting my time. So don't minimize my energy by giving me a half message because I'm not playing this game." And it's okay to say that.
Oh yeah. A lot of
So
people think
Melissa,
you
okay.
can't say that. It's okay to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Melissa, go back to your guys if they're giving you a half message and say, "Okay, can you please be more clear?" And I say, I'm human, so you're going to have to work a little bit harder to help me out. I'm not hearing you correctly today.
You know, you
That's
bring up
okay.
the that was a great case, the Lady of the Dunes,
Yeah.
and it makes me want to think of that other case that you reached out to me about, and we haven't talked about it since, and that was the
No.
woman who eventually committed suicide that you thought had a demonic attachment.
Yeah.
What do any further information on that? Because that kind of just really hit you, blindsided you, and then left you kind of like, what now? And
Right. That
her,
there was a lot going on in that case, and usually with demonic attachments, you there comes addiction issues, because that's just another facet that keeps your brain from finding its highest or purest form. Because if you're on, drug or alcohol, you're not going to find your core self. You're not going to find your highest, truest self. And in that is where all our answers are. I don't have any secret. There's nothing secret about it. I just help you find your inner truth and then work from there. And the alcohol kind of kept her from accepting that or listening to my words, which usually it happens. And you find that, right? I bet you
yeah.
like this is what you need to do, XYZ to get better. And when they don't, it's frustrating for us.
It helps though to find out or have a relatively good idea on how it all started, why this individual was targeted, and I think that that's you weren't sure of that in that.
Well, I had talked to her. Actually, she reached out to me 2 years prior. So this was the situation that was she was working on. She worked with people that were incarcerated, people with a lot of drama, people living in that third dimensional world of a lot of ego and strife. She usually didn't get paid by these people that she worked with. Uh, so she was in a space where there was negative energy around her. And so I think at some point she picked up something left somebody else and jumped onto her. Now, this is just a guess because I won't know. And I'm not going to spend energy trying to find out because it's not If it didn't come to me and it hasn't come to me, I'm not gonna. Then it's not my business. So I just respect that. But
I was really expecting her to visit you after she had passed, and I don't know if you experienced that or not.
she has not, and my guess, once again, I'm speculating, but I don't think. I think she was intoxicated at the time, and so usually people that are intoxicated on one substance or another, doesn't really matter. They are out of their soul space, right? So they're out of their power, that light, and they don't know how to go home. So they have to figure out how to go home. They have to figure out how to be in a sober environment, because when you die and you're high, you're high. You kind of are still in that odd dimension. And it takes a while for them. Sometimes it can take over a year for them to figure it out. They don't trust. They don't trust people. They are reluctant to communicate with their guides. They feel like it's trick. You're tricking me. You want me to come with you. Nothing's that good. I don't believe you. And they're like, yeah, it really is. Just come on over this way. And they're like, no. And so they sit in a space, a very in between place. I've seen it, I've felt it, and it's not nice. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to stay there other than you lack trust, you lack love, so you don't recognize what true love is. Usually addicts have um not nice friends, right? So they don't, and there's no love there. So they don't trust it. And they also have they're very tough on themselves, so they don't love themselves, so they don't understand the love for others, and then they're not going to go with your guides, and so they end up getting stuck until all of a sudden they have this epiphany, and then they move over, then they shift on to where they're supposed to be, then they do a debriefing. I mean, they really put the process on hold. Excuse me, which is sad because just surrender, just give it up, just go. Like, it's so much nicer.
That was an interesting article that you had sent me about this all the soldiers. We're not talking one or two, and this goes back a long time. All those soldiers that are feel cursed
Yeah.
coming back from this particular war or that particular war and feeling cursed,
Yeah.
truly cursed, and having
Mhm.
visions of demonic entities attaching to them and
Mhm.
people close to them and stuff. That was a very interesting article. And I've talked to a lot of soldiers. Everybody likes to write it off as just being, you know, uh, PTSD um, or whatever addiction that they've, you know, are having right now at the moment.
Mhm.
But no, in some of the discussions I've had with some soldiers, it's different.
Mhm.
So that's very interesting. Have you personally talked to any of them, or just you saw the article?
I saw the article, and I just want to just get to Pam for a second. She very well could have manifested it. There was something about her because at not her whole life she wasn't always in an addicted space. So um something could have lured her. Something could have made, that being addicted um very comforting, very familiar. Um, Other spirits that are or were addicts love to hang out at bars so that they can wait till your awareness level has holes in it or is not guarded, and then they attach themselves to you, and then they can get you to drink. And I think that, once again, theory here, mine, um, is that that's the blackout space. When you go into blackout space, that's the other entity. That's that entity taking over. You've lost now control, and the entity is now driving your bus. And that's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
And I think that she was there as well.
This is a comment about Melissa, the one who was
Mhm.
asking about her. Um,
So then sit with it. So I would say, Melissa, to sit with the information that you're receiving, write it down, get it out, share it. I definitely, if you have a friend that you can say it out loud to, that really helps. It really helps. I have a very good friend, Corey. I bounce my stuff off of. I'll say, "Oh my gosh, today I'm really anxious. I wonder what's happening. Something's bubbling inside." When I share that with her, and then she'll go, "Oh my God, I'm anxious too for no reason. We can't pinpoint it." um, then I go, oh, okay, something's happening here on the planet. If you can have a planet buddy that can kind of bounces things off of, that really is helpful. And you'll find that to be comforting because you're not the only one. You're not the only one feeling this. Before the earthquakes and the volcanoes, um, I was sharing, I said, I see something really devastating happening in a large mass. It was very, very big. And I know that we're not through all of it yet. But then that poor town in Iceland, Greenland. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
because
one of those two, probably.
yeah,
Yeah, with the
and I
big
apologize. Yeah.
cracks in the ground and the steam coming
hmm
up, and yeah, and they
So
had to
then
evacuate everybody.
yeah, yeah. So 3
That's
days later,
crazy.
there it was, and I was so glad that I shared it with her because I'm like, "Oh, good. I'm not well, not that I'm not crazy, but I say that I'm not oh, good, I'm not crazy." I it was that's why I was feeling uncomfortable. That's why I was um having certain sensations. So just mark them down. The more you honor your messages, no matter what they are, as long as you're honoring them and giving them voice, um, you'll get the whole picture. Yeah, and good friends. You know, you have to have someone that's not going to judge you. I know this sounds crazy, but um, and they'll be like, "Oh no, I got the same thing." You're going to find your tribe. You're going to find your people. You're going to find as we move into this new world of higher energetics, you're going to find you'll be gravitating towards those people. You may only have 3 people, but and everyone has disappeared. Not that they've died, they're just behind you. They're just not in your reality anymore. Um, and then you'll be fine because you really don't need 100 people. You just need 3 really good friends.
Did you ever see the movie It's a Wonderful Life?
Mhm.
Interesting how that's
Excuse me.
as timeless as it is, and
Mhm.
it could be remade and relevant, and it would be relevant today, and even the originals relevant today. And this is the bad time of year, and somebody out there, if you know the truth behind this, and I need to be corrected, by all means, please let me know. But I thought I remembered that movie was made back in the day to combat the high numbers of suicide during the holidays. That's I could be wrong,
Oh. Oh,
but I thought that's
interesting.
why that movie was made. And yeah, that would have to be a very close second to everybody that reaches out to me wanting to know, are we in end days,
Mhm.
wanting to know why they have this feeling of, especially this time of year, wanting to just they just don't want to go on any longer. And it's um, what do you think? I mean, do you certainly you have people that reach out to you this time of year that feel that way, and
Yep.
I just don't know what that's all about.
Well, it's the energetic balance. It's you've got to really choose. You have to have enough energy in your spirit right now as you stand and live and breathe to choose. I'm gonna spend I'm going to leave the city and I'm going to go walk in the country. I'm going to go walk into the woods. I'm going to go by the ocean. I'm going to go to the mountains. I'm going to go where that drama isn't. But we're choosing the basketball wives. We're choosing
The
um
news.
right? We're choosing those things. You don't have to choose. I don't watch the news. So if it's happening, my guides will tell me, Susan, you need to see this. And I'll wake up in the morning and go, oh, you need to watch the news today. I'm like, okay. So I put the news on and I'm like, I don't see anything. Like, what am I supposed to be seeing? But you trust. And so if you trust, your guides are going to lead you. They're going to tell you, you know, get out of here. I always get that knock that says, okay, it's time to leave. I don't ask, well, why? But why? But why? Okay. It's just okay. And then you just go. You have to trust that. And if you don't have that yet, you got to get on it. You've got to get on it because the earth is shifting so quickly. There's so much happening that, yeah, you need to.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie, and I had to take a break during the middle of it because it's a long movie. But it's like I said, it's just a timeless movie, and uh, when people reach out to me like that, and I can really tell that they're kind of like over the edge, hanging on
Mhm.
emotionally, psychologically by their
It's a
fingernails.
choice.
And usually it's just over some
Uh,
silly stuff I find
right.
silly, but to them it's major crisis
Choices.
mode.
Right.
The alarm bells are going off. You get really desperate on, and I just pretty much just go back to basics with them, and just a lot of prayer and
Yeah.
try
You
to
know,
determine what's the drama that they need to get out of their life.
right. You know what is good is to redirect them. They're so stuck in the drama loop, the suffering loop, that victim loop, that I will say, give me three things that are beautiful. Name me three things that bring you joy today. And then I'll text them the next day. All right, today I want three things that bring you joy. Or text me three things that are, make them do the work. We can't do the work for them. It's kind of a tough love situation. Should have get off the pot. It's no one's wiping your behind. I can't. You know what I mean? I can't anymore. We're done. And so when we interject that, we're making them see. And then if they go to a place of negative and they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Nope. Now you owe me another positive thing. You've got to, it's a training. They've trained their minds to look for the drama. They've trained their minds to be in the mess of it. It's an addiction. So now you have to train them to look for beautiful, look for peaceful, look for loving. It's a training, and that demonic energy loves that. Oh my God, they love the sorrow and the sadness and the pathetic. They want people to feel that way.
Yeah, it's just an interesting
Thank you,
time of
Pam.
year.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, you know me, you know what I'm going to say. Humanity has just gotten away from God. I'm not trying to convert anybody, but really, it seems like humanity has gotten away from God. And if I can steer people towards at least, I'm not trying to convert them to Catholicism, but if I can steer them towards, trying to tap into you know, a higher vibrational source of love and light and
Right.
open up some lines of communication there and start getting into like however they want to pray, start doing some praying and guardian angels too. People, it's funny how people don't want to. I always find it interesting that somebody, doesn't want to just totally buy into God, but they buy into the guardian angel thing. They love just thinking that maybe
Love
there
a
is
good
this
angel.
guardian angel, yeah, that's
Right.
over their shoulder. So, and isn't that funny? That movie has a guardian angel in it.
Yeah.
Um, I love that movie. Anyway, I try to get people to start communicating to their guardian angel, and then their guardian angel will then, in turn, when the time is right, lead them the way they need to be led to the open communication to the higher up.
Right.
Um, yeah,
And
it's tough.
yeah, and I know that Pam has left, but anybody else that's listening is that we can't control anything. Like, we can't control any outcomes. So she was very worried that her son, I believe it was, that was going to be traveling. And oh, it's Melissa. Thank you. Um, we can't control any of that. So what we can do is, I always say, pray. What we can do is send love. And what is love? Love is any. basically is God, is religion, is whatever you want to think of it, or however you go. Like, I don't want to project any religious belief on anyone, but we can all love, right? We can all do that. And so you just send love, and you send this beautiful thought to your son who's driving back home tomorrow. And then you trust that however it is supposed to end up is going to end up. We are not in control of how he gets home, whether he's early, late, or doesn't end up at all. We have to just trust that there's a greater power that is beyond us, and all we can do is love. And that's it. And as long as your son knows that he is loved and you are loved, and you can just send that energy and surround him in that beautiful light, then that's all we can do. Because if not, you're going to be exhausted. You know, like, we gotta, at some point, we just have to surrender. And this is about the surrender part. And if you're in this beautiful white light and he's in this light, then it is what it is. And that's a tough one. You get to that place, that's a tough place to be able to do that. But you've made it. You've done it. You've come to a place where you can completely surrender and just trust. That's huge.
What do you do when you have? Because you and I are we're humans. God created us the way we are. We are what we are.
Hmm.
Everybody goes through the depression stuff.
Hmm.
What do you do? How do you tap into?
Um, I allow myself to feel sad or whatever's happening. I allow myself to go through that emotion, but I don't allow myself to get stuck in it. It's one thing to feel it. So I give myself appropriate time for the given situation. But then I dust off, I pull up my big girl panties, and I just have to continue. I have to continue on. Um, but we're way showers, we're there to show the way for people. So I'm of no service if I'm in bed and not coping. I'm in no service to anyone. And if I thought I'm having a bad day, there's always, I could count 20 more people that are having a worse moment. So, Susan, what is this really about? Why are you choosing to suffer? Right? And so I don't choose to suffer. I choose to look at it. I navigate through it. What can I do about it? Can I do anything about it at 2 o'clock in the morning? Probably not. So get some sleep, look at it with a clear head tomorrow, share it with a friend, discuss it. Am I seeing this correctly? Am I being an alarmist? Am I being dramatic? What's this all about? Is this a trigger? I really sit there and I talk myself through it like I would talk to you if you called me. I'd say, okay, what's going on? So I do that to myself. Susan, what's going on? I make sure that, or I give myself a time. You've got an hour to have a good snotty cry. But after that hour is over, you're going to get up and you're going to go outside and you're going to find 3 beautiful things that bring you joy. What are those beautiful things? Sunshine. Sunshine. I just love the sunshine. I will not believe that sun is a bad thing. I refuse to, even though my little Irish stinking skin tells me otherwise. I still think that the sun is the best thing in the world. So,
What do you got planned coming up for next year? I mean, how was your Thanksgiving?
oh, Angela, I love that. Don't let the bad feelings, the sad feelings, sit on you like an elephant. That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good job. I love that. So what am I doing? What am I doing? What?
How was your
What?
Thanksgiving, and what do you got
Oh,
coming up for? I mean, you're coming back here the last Monday of every month
yep.
again next year.
Yep. Coming
But
back.
you had the table tipping stuff going on. I felt bad for you for missing the Halloween event. Well, you didn't miss one of the events. It might not have been Halloween. You had another
It
haunted
was my
event going on.
yeah, missed that because of COVID. I was so upset. That was the last one of 2023. We'll have more, but it's always horrible to miss the last one, of the year. So I missed that. Thanksgiving was a mess because of COVID. We didn't want to we want everybody to get the 10-day separateness, so that we didn't spread it to anybody else. So we had it another day and not actually on Thanksgiving. What
Do you
else?
like to make New Year's resolutions? Do you have plans for next year? I mean, you're I've always thought of you as a good planner. I mean, you
Yeah.
plan events.
Yeah.
What do you got going on? Anything that you can talk
I
of? You're
do
also
not.
very
It's
secretive.
interesting. Yeah, no. Oh, but I did have one really cool thing I wanted to share with you. So I was doing table tipping, and across the street, I don't know if I mentioned this, across the street is a funeral home. And I couldn't figure out, we were doing table tipping, and it was I was getting like random people running through, and I couldn't figure out because they didn't really know how to work table, and they weren't really listening to directions, and they were just like messy messages, and I'm like, what is going on? So then I said, well, forget it. I'm not doing table until I know what's happening. What is going on? And so what was happening is the people from the funeral parlor were seeing the white light, because you can only, it's almost like a pillar of white light that comes from the table. And they're seeing this like a beacon, and they're running over going, hey, what's going on? And they haven't been in spirit long enough to know what the rules are. There's certain rules of engagement that you can't bother me while I'm doing table, first of all. And so, yeah, so it was kind of interesting. So I stopped doing that because I can't figure out how to create a stronger boundary so that I don't get these people running through and messing up the table. So,
Well, I am so happy that we had this chance to visit tonight. It's
yeah,
always a mixed emotions. If there's not a lot of people that call in for a reading, I get a chance to chat and catch up with you. If a lot of people do call in for readings, that's always nice to watch you work and help people out. But I'm so happy you're coming back for Happy
yeah,
Medium Mondays again next year. Um, and I know we message each other a lot, so I'll know
mhm,
everything that you've got going on. And I'm waiting for Daniel to let me know what's happening with his new film and
yep,
all sorts of good stuff. I know you're going to be talking to my wife a little bit later, giving
mhm,
her birthday reading. And
yeah. Well, we
other
had
than,
some good conversation though. I like that
yeah,
too. Yeah, if some people are like, oh, I don't need to know, but they want answers to questions. I love that. It's good. It's good
well,
for me
listen,
too.
if I don't talk to you again, I want you
Yep.
to have, and I know I will, but have a very Merry Christmas
Thank
and a
you.
Happy New Year. You know I love you. You know I respect you. Can't wait to do this again last
Mhm.
Monday in December. I'm sorry, January. And on that note, I'm going to kick you out of here.
All right. See you next year, buddy.
Alrighty, I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye. Alrighty, Susan Ahern, Cape Cod's only live on air psychic radio personality. Her website, Cape Cod Happy Medium, I believe it's .com. Yeah, believe it's capecodhappymedium.com. She's also got a Happy Medium Facebook page, and you can always reach out to her on her personal profile, Susan Ahern. But she will be back for Happy Medium Mondays in 2024, so I'm looking forward to that. That's the last Monday of every month here on the Paranormal Ministry. Thank you all so very much. And guys, listen, it is what it is. It's life. We're just meant to go through life. Okay? If anybody is having a tough time with life, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on my personal profile, any one of my other social media platforms, my website. You know, don't get too crazy. It's just life. Okay? I love you all. Um, my next guest, my next live show, Friday, December 1st. It's another monthly series, Christian Supernatural with demonologist Ira Wolfnesson will be this coming Friday, December 1st. And I want to thank Zach and Adrian Clayton for co producing my show. I couldn't do without them because I'm completely computer illiterate. USOCC.org. Go there. Check it out. BishopJamesLong.com. Go there. Check it out. The links to Bible study and the links to night prayer are there if you're interested in Bible study or night prayer. Very, very cool. If you are, you can get the links there and check out the church that I belong to. What else do I want to tell you guys? Nothing. I got no other big news other than I pray for all of you often, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But I'll be here. I got shows coming up. I'll be here. No word yet as to season 2 for Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists. It's still officially in pending, so you never know. You can always reach out to Travel Channel. They've got a place there on their website where you can um, request shows, continuing seasons for shows, and let your voice be heard if you want to do that. You can the show is still streaming on Max and Discovery Plus. You can buy the season 1 at Amazon Prime. So a lot of people keep reaching out to me about the show. You can see it. You can still see it if you want to. Go to Zach's website. I love his website, communitypayitforward.us. His website's a great website to go and visit during the holiday season. Help some people out. And if you need some help, go there. Communitypayitforward.us. You can find me now on Facebook at Lawrence Morais. That's an old stage name that I'm using now because my original profile got deactivated. I don't know why. Hacked or deactivated. Nobody at Facebook will get back to me. So I'm now Lawrence Morais. Sean Patrick Whittington is in parentheses after that. So you can find me there. I want to thank all the networks that simulcast my show. Things Network, Spirit, Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment, Skeleton Key Network, Pact, little p, capital ACT, podcasting for all coming together. All of these networks are so beautiful. God bless them for wanting to simulcast my show. And on that note, I think it's. Do you guys want a joke? I should make up for the bad comment I made about the actor that played
Yeah,
Superman.
you need to make up for that.
I'm gonna pay for that later. I feel so bad that I made that smart ass comment. This is gonna be a bad joke that one of you sent in that I'm gonna pull out of this haunt. Okay. What's a ninja's favorite type of shoes? Sneakers. I love you, Danny. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Peace.